Welcome to the Flight Levels. If you're considering becoming an air traffic controller, this one's for you. Today we're taking an inside look at what a typical day looks like for a certified professional controller at an Enroute Center. How many breaks do you get? Can you leave to grab a sandwich at Subway because you forgot your lunch at home? Don't change that channel. We're going to answer those questions and more. Let's get to it. If you're enjoying this content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. That way you won't miss any upcoming episodes about air traffic control and flying in the National Airspace System. It also really helps me grow my channel. With that out of the way, let's dive into a controller's day. Air traffic controllers start their day by walking to their assigned area and signing into work on the crew's scheduling desktop. This isn't just a sign-in sheet, it's a dynamic tool. On this computer, everyone working can easily see who is currently on position, who is on break, and who is scheduled to come into work later that day. After signing in, you immediately assess the operational tempo. You'll want to take note of who has been on position the longest in the order of a few controllers. Your next step is to walk around the room offering breaks, starting with the controller who has been on position the longest. If that controller declines, you simply move on to the next one. Once a controller accepts your offer for a break, you plug your headset into their console. This allows you to start listening to the frequencies and observing the radar display to get a real-time understanding of the current traffic situation. When you're ready, you'll tell the controller that you're ready for what's called a position relief briefing. This is a crucial part of the job. The current controller will press a button on the audio panel to record your entire conversation. They'll use a checklist to ensure all relevant information is covered. Important items include what each aircraft is doing, the status of any special use airspace like military operations areas or restricted areas, any equipment outages, and information about flow control into major airports. At the conclusion, they'll ask if you have any questions. Once you're satisfied with the briefing, you both state your operating initials and you press the button to end the recording. Recording position relief briefings is a key requirement. It can be a useful source of information in the event an incident occurs, helping to validate if a controller had been briefed on a key piece of information. Most importantly, it holds all of us accountable. The controller you just relieved then walks back to that crew scheduling desktop. They'll drag your name onto the position you just assumed. This action automatically moves them into the break list and starts a timer for their break. Standard breaks are 30 minutes. If the timer for someone on break goes much beyond that, the frontline manager will likely start looking for that controller, either by asking if anyone has seen them or by making an announcement over the facility's PA system. So, how does a controller actually go on break? You've already seen one way, just being relieved by another controller, and this is the most common scenario where a new controller takes over your position after a thorough briefing. But what if traffic had been heavy and now it has slowed down? So that's when we can do combining sectors. Your frontline manager might instruct you to combine your sector with another one that a radar controller is already working. This means you'll brief the other controller on your traffic, hand off any traffic that will be in your now combined airspace, and then the other controller will assume responsibility for both sectors. This allows a controller to go on break without a direct relief. Now, let's talk about the most anticipated break of the shift, lunch. Unlike your standard 30-minute breaks, your lunch is 45 minutes long. This extra time is crucial because who doesn't like to eat? If you forgot your lunch at home, you can absolutely zip out to grab that sandwich from Subway or whatever fast food is nearby. Many facilities have on-site cafeterias available, offering a convenient option for controllers who prefer to stay within the building. It's a chance to completely step away from the control room, clear your head, and refuel for the rest of your shift. Now, once you're on position, Depending on staffing levels and traffic, you might be working anywhere from as short as 5 minutes to up to 2 hours before your next break. As controllers either start their shift or return from breaks, they'll review the crew scheduling desktop to see who to offer a break. As soon as someone offers you a break, you have the discretion to either stay on position until the next offer or to take a break. In fact, sometimes the stars align in your favor. You might return from a break, offer a break to every controller working, but each of them passes because either they just got on position or they feel good or traffic is light. When that happens, you might just go right back on break. It's not common, but it certainly happens once in a while, and it's a nice little bonus. There's actually no hard limit to how many breaks you can have on a shift. However, the reverse can also occur. There are times when traffic may unexpectedly pick up or a sudden event requires more controllers on position immediately. If the frontline manager needs to open a sector now, they will often page the controller who has been on break the longest to come back early. You might just be getting settled into your lunch, but when the call comes, you answer it. Safety and efficiency always come first. But how do you return from a break in general? Just as there are ways to go on break, there are different ways to return. The most common way is, like we've already seen, relieving an existing controller. You simply relieve a controller who is currently working a position. You take over their airspace and they go on break. You could also open a new position. As the day progresses, the amount of traffic changes. When that happens, frontline managers may instruct controllers returning from a break to not relieve a controller, but instead to open up a new sector. Let's break down how this works. Let's say an area has 6 physical radar positions. In the early morning hours, traffic may be light, so only 2 controllers are working. Each might have 3 sectors combined at each workstation. In our example, we have sectors 6, 11, and 13 being worked at sector 11. Then we have sectors 36, 12, and 26 being worked at sector 12. As traffic picks up, the controller returning from a break may be assigned to open up a new physical workstation. Let's say the frontline manager wants to open sector 26. The new controller will start by sitting in front of the console designated for sector 26. They will then enter specific keystrokes to open the sector. Next, they will make a landline call to the controller at sector 12. Similar to a conventional position relief briefing, the controller opening up a new position will call the existing controller on the landline and request a briefing specifically concerning information on the sector they are assuming. During this briefing, the sector 12 controller will hand off each aircraft in sector 26 to sector 26. This might sound strange. Why hand off aircraft already in sector 26 to sector 26? This is because a minute ago, these aircraft were under the control of sector 12. When a controller works combined sectors, all handoffs go to the physical workstation number where a controller is working the aircraft. So in this case, even though the aircraft were flying within the lateral boundary of sector 26, they were under the track control of sector 12. The controller at sector 26 will accept these handoffs. And lastly, they will activate the VHF and UHF frequencies at their position. Now, sector 12 just has sectors 36 and 12, and sector 26 just has sector 26. This allows more controllers to work smaller, more manageable chunks of airspace as traffic increases. Another possibility as traffic increases is to add a radar associate position, commonly called a D-side. The D-side controller assists the radar controller with all of the other duties controllers are responsible for. This way, the radar controller can primarily focus on providing instructions to pilots. So, what are the duties a D-side controller is responsible for? Their main duty is to act like a secretary for the radar controller. Behind the scenes, controllers are constantly coordinating with each other. One of the most basic rules that air traffic controllers follow is the concept that they are responsible for everything that happens in their airspace. If a controller needs to use somebody else's airspace, they need to get permission. If the airspace you need to borrow is worked by someone physically nearby in your area, Coordination could be as simple as literally walking over, saying point out, while pointing at their radar display, and the other controller responding with an approval. Usually, however, coordination is done via a landline call. Having a D-position controller is a great asset since they are able to both make and receive these critical landline calls, freeing up the radar controller's attention. The D-position will also manipulate the En-route Decision Support Tool, or EDST for short. This second workstation displays a wealth of information such as the call sign, aircraft type, requested altitude, and route of flight for each aircraft. As you can guess, there are also many tools available on this workstation. These include a conflict probe, which uses each aircraft's trajectory to anticipate potential conflicts between aircraft as well as conflicts with any special use airspace. EDST can also display the route of each aircraft on a graphical display, predict when aircraft need to begin descent, and display forecast winds aloft data. Depending on how the radar and D-position controllers wish to work together, the D-position controller also has the ability to initiate and receive handoffs. Other functions the D-position could perform include changing the position of data blocks so they don't overlap each other. They can also enter departure messages, drop tracks, and enter amendments to altitudes and routes. The key to an effective D-side controller is the ability to work together with the radar controller as a seamless team. A difficult aspect for a trainee is learning the different working styles of all the controllers you will work with. As the end of the shift approaches, the dynamics shift once more. The frontline manager closely monitors the crew's scheduling desktop, paying particular attention to each controller's scheduled departure time. When controllers return from a break, the frontline manager will often instruct them to prioritize relieving those who are nearing the end of their shift, even if another controller has been on position for a longer period. The goal is to get everyone home on time. Conversely, if you're returning from a break and only have a few minutes left on your shift, your manager will likely make the strategic decision not to put you back on position. There's little point in having you assume control of a sector with just a few minutes, only for another controller to immediately have to relieve you. This efficient management of resources ensures continuous, safe operations right up until go-home time. As you can see, a typical day for an en-route air traffic controller is dynamic and requires constant adaptation. From precise position relief briefings and that crucial lunch break, to strategically opening new sectors or supporting a radar controller as a D-side, every moment is about ensuring the safe and efficient flow of air traffic. It's a job that demands focus, teamwork, and the ability to pivot at a moment's notice. What surprised you the most about a controller's day? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more insights into the world of air traffic control. Remember, don't just fly, climb to the flight levels. If you enjoyed this video, click here to learn more about power versus thrust on propeller-driven aircraft. You're going to love it.